back of unbutted. I really got nothing to hide about cutting. Go out in the blaze, wouldn't pop one button. I'm a hurt half bird, lead a cop off something. The pretty black one in the boots, the smooth villain on the fly, cause I'm feeling the word, can move millions. Slide right in front of your eyes. 2 billions is the new bad moon on the rise. Who's killing it? New juice killing it, Charlie, who's killing it? Ready plus willing, it's all the true killing. You know we get in the fall, we too diligent. They say the music is strong and too militant. Go hands up, we got you surrounded. I'm in the back, changing my outfit. He said, wait, we was in the house. I said, wait, here I come, here I come, here I come. You boys get ready, cause here I come, here I come, here I come. Black and raw life is what you call it. Smoking junkie alcoholic, 1 foot in the grave, 1 foot in the toilet. Still on stage, in front of an artist, disturbing the peace and the local artists. I didn't want this, but ETA, I'll arrive by morning. Money long like arms on the lines for morning. Vampire chicks look like custom garden. Waiting to catch me sleeping, I'm not yawning. They in a VIP, after garden. They gon' jump me when I stop performing. I got some villain behind the organ. I'm always cozy with my squadron. The shirt off front, going sick to dogs.
AR2, Scott Neal, and Shane Fisher, Mr. Tropics.
I'm in the darkness, regardless, moving hardest. Y'all just press the charges, it's off an entry. Cause to force my entry to spend this entry. Knocking up the percent, it's elementary. Like they are rest, and evidently. Residents, they all rest, I'm lawless. That's my problem. Evolving, never solving. Chillin' Harlem. Then you bring you started, we put a border. Last thing you been aborted. Bring your neck out, bring the neck out, absorb it. See you check out, then step out the orbit. Play your flesh out, till I'm fresh out my torment. Trigger possible, hot, preach the gospel. Still I'm hostile, slipping the deuce, I'm possible. Turn it to monster.
Two teams, but just one ticket to be punched to Texas. We'll see in just a few minutes which team it is that will get that trip to the Final Four as the United Premier Soccer League presents the Tropics SC as they face world-class Premier, a UPSL quarterfinal playoff here in Savannah, Georgia. Delighted that you're spending a little time with us at Memorial Stadium, a beautiful new facility just opened this year here in Chatham County. And the Tropics and world-class Premier will battle it out for a trip to the UPSL National Final Four to be held the last weekend in July in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. The Tropics in white, moving from left to right. World-class Premier in the dark blue and white, moving from right to left on this AstroTurf field. As we said, Memorial Stadium just recently rebuilt and reopened, home of the Savannah Clovers of the UPSL, and thanks to the Clovers for their gracious hosting of this evening's national quarterfinal. Tropics come in undefeated in 15 starts, including 4 playoff wins. They are 15-0-0 after an 11-0-0 regular season, which they had a goal differential of plus 37. World-class Premier also has not lost this year. They do have one blemish on the record. They do have a draw. So they come in at 11-0-1 and equally impressive in their goal differential as well during the regular season. So this will be a test of two teams that are used to having things pretty much their way on a regular basis during most of the UPSL season. And we'll see how that plays out here tonight. Perhaps an early goal one way or the other could set a very early tone. That has been a trademark for the Tropics. Here's a chance in the box, perhaps, as Victor Pereira's tried to corral the loose ball but could not connect. Pereira's the Tropics' leading goal scorer in the playoffs. Ricardo Dieguez, the regular season goal-scoring leader. He is dressed and will likely come on as a reserve in the second half. He has scored the Tropics' third and insurance goal in each of their last 3 wins. So he will perhaps play a very valuable role tonight, even though he does not start. He only played the first half of the season and then did not dress basically for the second half of the season, and then has been back for the playoff run for the Tropics. Of course, Victor and Ricardo, stalwarts on the Major Arena Soccer League Florida Tropics. Fans back up in Gaithersburg tuning in this evening might be familiar with the Baltimore Blast. That is a nemesis of the Tropics, and Ricardo Dieguez and Victor Pereras can tell you quite a few horror stories, I'm sure, about playing against the Blast over the last few seasons, but they are two of the key contributors for the Tropics here this season, the Tropics SC first season in the UPSL. Same for Premier as they build forward now. Ball into the box, a little too tall. And this is Pascal Millian with it for the Tropics, the Melvin Boateng. Pressured there by Toure. Comes back to Hugo Silva, who looks for Xavier Silva in the Premier end of the field. No relation. Tropics will get a throw in here. Hugo Silva, the starting goalkeeper for the Florida Tropics last year in the MASL. Dangerous play there for the Tropics, so Premier will get a throw in here, or a restart rather. The road here tonight has been a bit longer for the Tropics than it is Premier. The Tropics, this is their 5th playoff game after winning the Florida State Championship last weekend against. There's a chance in front, a cross by Elton Joe. Nobody there to get it for Premier, but they still have a dangerous opportunity here as they try and get it in front, and will settle for a corner here. Elton Joe is the hero. Last time the Premier team took to the pitch in their last playoff game against Baltimore United. Short corner. Chance here now for United, served in front. Trying to get it across the top of the box to Joe, but couldn't do it, and Tropics were able to clear the area. It was Joe who, for all the world, everyone in the stadium thought that game would be going to penalty kicks, and in the 120th minute, last minute of the second overtime, Elton Joe, on a crazy play, found the back of the net, and that is what propelled WCP here to Savannah tonight. This is Pascal Millian with it. The veteran of many games with the Haiti national team. Started his soccer career in the U.S. in Auburndale, where the Tropics play their home games. Had 114 goals for the Bloodhounds and helped Auburndale to its first state championship in 2005, and he has been excellent here in the playoffs. Really has taken his play to a different level. Boateng will send it to the far side to Victor Pereras. Got Gerritsen Crane making a run. Pereras will take the long shot, and that goes well wide. Daniel Olafinsu in goal for Premier here this evening. Olakunle Banjo was the other goal getter in that win against Baltimore United. So we said Premier only having to win 2 playoff games to get here. They won their opener in the postseason 4-0. And then that squeaker over Baltimore United. The Tropics have played 4 times, have outscored their opponents so far here in the postseason 12-2, scoring 3 goals in every single one of their wins. 2 3-0 wins and 2 3-1 wins, including the 3-1 win last weekend against Boca. That was the game that Victor Pereras had 2 goals, and then Dieguez added the insurance goal late. Just in to the 8th minute here. Again, a look deep into the Lakeland zone. There's a shot, and that one is well cracked and wide by Elton Joe. The Tropics will do well to make sure they know where number 14 is on the field all evening. It was not that far from the upper 40. Lucas Teixeira, the Tropics coach, shouting some instructions out to his players. Teixeira, also a member of the Florida Tropics MASL side, fact, scored one of the most iconic goals in the Tropics' 3-year history to beat the Baltimore Blast a couple of years ago down in Lakeland when the Blast were the 2-time defending MASL champions. Teixeira scored that goal with about 20 seconds to play to give the Tropics a 5-4 win. Looking for Pereiras on the far side, or rather Garrettson Crane, and that will go into the stands. As we said, this is a lovely facility here in Savannah. About a 5,000 seat stadium. It has been the site of a stadium for decades, and they tore it all down and rebuilt it and did it right. AstroTurf Field, similar to what the Tropics play on in their USL League 2 team, but the Tropics SC play on natural grass out at Lake Myrtle Sports Complex in Auburndale. This turf a little spongier than some, so I don't know if that'll be a big determining factor in terms of bounces. The AstroTurf Field at Bryant Stadium in Lakeland is pretty hard and can get some pretty unusual high bounces there, but I don't think that'll be the case, at least was my sense walking the field pregame here this evening. Boateng tries to disrupt the build-up. This is Toure with it. On the left side now to Banjo. This is Joe being watched by Machado. Joe again across in front, and that is just knocked away. That is going to be a handball against the Tropics, and a penalty kick coming up here for WCP. Leo Machado guilty of a handball. No question about that. And the whistle goes, and the penalty kick coming up here in the 10th, maybe the 11th minute, and it'll be Elton Joe to take it. The Tropics may be looking at their first deficit of the entire season. Hugo Silva claps his hands to try and build his confidence. Joe approaches, shot and a goal. So in the 11th minute, Elton Joe gives WCC an early lead. That is the early goal that we have talked about, and that has usually been on the side of the Tropics, but not tonight. Joe makes no mistake going to Hugo Silva's left. Hugo chose to go to the right and obviously had no chance to make the save. So Tropics will have to see if they can shake it off and recover here. Long ball down to Pereiras. Pereiras trying to turn it into the middle of the field, looking for Xavier Silva, but it is knocked away and out of play. Throw-in coming up for the Tropics. Ball into Pereiras. Silva with it, leaves it off for Boateng from distance. His shot is blocked. Pascal Millien going to try and track it down. He's outnumbered on the sideline, but Pascal does a good job. Finally goes down, and the whistle is blown. As we said, Millien at 33 has played more like he's 23 here in the playoffs. And he will not be rattled by an early score against. Victor Pereiras will do the restart honors here. Swings it into the box. Millien trying to track it down. Millien and Pedro Ivo Diaz kind of came together there, and neither of them got a very good strike on it, and that chance goes by the boards. 1-0. World-class premiere. Penalty kick goal in the 11th minute by Elton Joe. And I'm not 100% positive, but I believe that's the first time the Tropics have trailed all year. No, they did not trail in any home games this year. And don't believe they trailed ever on the road. Pressure by Silva, but WCP able to push forward here now. Corey Mills steps up for a challenge. This is Daniel Ankler, number 10, losing it. Ankler, the team captain for WCP. Lucas Monolaris, the Tropics SC defender, wearing the captain's band tonight for the Tropics. Here's the ball down to Crane. Crane will push ahead, whistle, and it will be a foul against Crane. Banjo is hitting that one for Premier, so it'll give the Tropics a throw-in. Comes into Silva. Xavier Silva leaving it off for Victor Pereira. Pereira's not much room to operate. You can bet that WCP knows that they have to keep a very, very close eye on number 10 tonight. Indoors, he's more of a playmaker, but he's also a very talented goal scorer. Cross into the box. I know with Insua able to collect that without a problem. Pretty nice contingent on hand from Polk County here this evening to cheer on the Tropics. Probably 40 or 50 or so fans making the trip. Much longer trip for the Premier side, about a 10-hour bus ride. Both teams came in last night. Millen trying to track this one down in the WCP zone, and we will get a throw-in out of it. Into Boateng, and play it back to Ivo Diaz now. Cooper on the defense, gets it back to his goalkeeper, and this will be a goal kick for Olafin-Sua. Tropics thought maybe they deserved a corner there, but that's not how the official sees it. Dangerous moment, though, there for Premier. 16th minute, 1-0 Premier on the penalty kick goal by Joe. Tropics haven't had really any bona fide chances yet. A couple of opportunities that didn't quite develop into chances. There's the ball through into the box, and a good defensive play by Leo Machado there to beat Elton Joe to the ball. And Pascal Millen will recover. Gives it to Boateng. There's Joe on the near side and the takeaway. Being chased by Boateng, and a good recovery by Melvin. Looking for Millen, but that'll be a bit too heavy. Goal kick coming up here for Premier. Joe again on the left wing after getting the pass from Pato. The Tropics will take possession at the top of their own box. Ball ahead again for Millen, too far. Boateng settles to Corey Mills. Back to Pedro Ivo Diaz. One of the things that World Class Premier wanted to do is play quickly tonight, and they have certainly done that here in the first 18 minutes. 1-0 lead. Monolaris will look downfield now. Too far for Silva. Tropics not quite on the same page with each other here early. Joe will slow things down here. Back out to his midfielder, that's Saidu Toure. And now Myrtle Kayo with it. Back to Toure and back to Kayo now. Premier looking to find an opening here. This is a full-size field here. When they rebuilt Memorial Stadium, they built it wide enough to have a fully international-sized field on it. Offsides flag is up. The Clovers FC, the only tenant really here, other than, of course, high school football. Very big here in Georgia. We're not too far from the campus of Georgia Southern. Pereiras looks for space. He goes down. Nice defensive play. Through ball to Banjo. Premier will control. Boateng ahead to Silva. Over to Corey Mills. Mills down the left wing. Doesn't have a whole lot of support coming yet. Finally leaves it back to Pereiras. Pereiras. Pedro Ivo Diaz with it. Boateng over to Millian. In the middle of Mills. Mills tried to poke it through to Millian, but well read defensively by Richard Forca. Millian pressures Forca. He will find a seam. One nothing World Class Premier on top. 21st minute here in Savannah, Georgia tonight. Winner to advance to the UPSL National Final Four in Dallas-Fort Worth, Weatherford, Texas to be exact. Final weekend. Here's Joe with a chance, a shot. Silva gets a piece of it, and Joe is onside. Hugo Silva encouraging his defenders to give him a little more support, and that is a huge save for Silva. Tropics can score, we know that, but they have not been up against the likes this year of WCP, quite frankly. And 2-0, who knows, might just be enough. Still a corner kick coming up here for Premier. Serve to the back post, and Hugo Silva will sky and come up with it. They'll get the nice outlet to Xavier Silva. Going to get tracked down, though, by one of the Premier players, but Silva carries on. Silva with a cross, looking for Victor Pereiras, who has the redirect and just misses. Best chance of the game for the Tropics, and Pereiras just misses on the redirect at the far post. Very pretty ball into the box by Xavier Silva there. And Pereiras just couldn't quite finish it. But perhaps that'll give the Tropics a little confidence going forward here and settle things down for them as Lucas Monolaris steps up and makes a nice play to Hugo Silva, and then Monolaris is hurt. Oleg Knudsen, the Tropics trainer, will come out to check on the Tropics captain. This comes in the 23rd minute. Penalty kick goal by Elton Joe in the 11th is the only score of the game, and Victor Pereira's just missed the Tropics' best chance about a minute ago. So we said world-class premier. Finishing their season without a loss. They did have one regular season tie with they did actually lose. I beg your pardon. They have lost a game. They're 9-1-0 in the regular season, not 9-0-1. My bad on that. Manalaris will come off. World-class premier winners of the Mid-Atlantic Division. Of course, the Tropics winners of the Florida title. Long ball looking for Xavier Silva again. Here's Melvin Boateng. Boateng in front, shot, goal! Melvin Boateng in the 25th minute ties it for the Tropics.
Goal scored in the 25th minute. The Tropics won, world-class premier won.
Pretty finish by Melvin Boateng, and that's a big one for the Tropics. They are back even at 1 here in the 25th minute. Thought maybe that Ola Finsua would come off his line perhaps to challenge that a little quicker, and he was kind of caught in the middle, and Boateng able to push it ahead and catch up to his own ball in the box and slot it home for the equalizer. Good sense that the Tropics' confidence in the last 4 or 5 minutes offensively had started to grow. They had that close miss by Pereiras, and this time Boateng finishes it off. Careful here. Here's a chance, and Joe puts it across the box. Speaking of being kind of caught in between, Hugo Silva, a brief moment of indecision there, and that almost cost the Tropics. '27th minute, tied at 1. Xavier Silva trying to challenge Richard Forca there, and Boateng will come up with the steal. Forca and Silva battle again. Xavier wanted Victor Pereiras on the far side, but Victor had not made a run. Big goal for Melvin Boateng. Joe with it, being watched by Machado. Nice little ball ahead. There's a chance by Pato, but that is cleared. Boateng with it. Nice little control pass over to Corey Mills. He'll find some space back to Leo Machado now. It's Machado's handball in the 11th minute that led to the penalty kick goal. Inadvertent as it may have been. Very, very nice evening here in Savannah. A little overcast. Drove through kind of a very light but steady drizzle a good portion of the way here, but just before getting into Savannah, skies cleared a bit and the rain stopped. It's kind of like the drizzle last night at Lakeland that Lakeland Tropics fans diligently sat through and were rewarded with a goal in the 89th minute. It was a takedown to Victor Pereiras, and this will be a restart from about 30 yards out. Hopefully Victor is okay. That rain, light as it was last night, may have actually helped the Tropics get that tie. A great shot by Julian Hall in the 89th minute from distance, kind of squirted through the fingertips of the Florida elite netminder, Jonathan Gomes. Probably the ball just wet enough to not handle that shot by Hall. And the Lakeland Tropics fans were rewarded with that draw last night in the final regular season game for the Lakeland Tropics. This is the first year that the Tropics Soccer Club has fielded 2 outdoor teams. So Pereiras will look for an opening perhaps here from about 32 yards out. Looks like a 3-man wall for Premier. Pereiras, there's the long ball, and pretty good save by Olufunsua. Not overly difficult, but had to go to the ground to his left to collect it. Got to strike it almost perfectly from that far out to beat a goaltender at this level. It can be done, certainly. And if I had to pick somebody to do it, Victor Pereiras might very well be that man. Build forward here now for Premier. Pushed a little too far ahead by Joe that time. Actually, I don't think that was Joe on the far side. Let me see if I can catch a number for you and give the proper recognition. Joe is the near side back, as you're watching on mycujo.tv tonight. This I can tell you is Omar Balo. He gets it ahead. That is Joe, number 14. Again, Premier will look into the box. And Lucas Montoleris back on the pitch, able to head it out of danger for a moment. Then Joe lines it up from about 25 yards out, and that one's blocked. Julien, he's got better speed than you might think. Whistle on the foul called. And we might actually have just a very, very light drizzle falling here. I do actually see an umbrella up in the crowd. I don't think weather will be any big factor unless, as we said, like we saw last night, that goal that snuck in very possibly because the ball was a little damp. Challenged by Xavier Silva there. 1-1 our score. We're in the 32nd minute here at Memorial Stadium in Savannah, Georgia. Tropics SC out of Auburndale, Florida. And world-class Premier out of Gaithersburg, Maryland. will play it back to Silva here. A little bit of pressure in there by Banjo. Now the Tropics trying to counter. Ball ahead to Garrettson Crane. Should be able to get there. And it'll be a throw in here for the Tropics, or did it go over the end line and it will be a corner kick? I think it was on the left side of the flag. Let's see here. Looks like Crane is in fact going to, throw it in, and does so to Victor Pereras, who promptly loses it. Unusual for Victor. Garrettson Crane gets it back to Pereras, though. Pereras with the shot, and that one goes wide. Scored from a similar spot in the championship game last week, the Florida championship game. Put it right through the legs of a defender, and instead of going far post, actually tucked it in the short side. .34th minute now. Tied at 1. Alvin Boateng in the 25th minute for the Tropics. Elton Joe on a penalty kick in the 11th minute for Premier. This is Forka with it. Middle of the field to Danny Ankra, team captain with it. Midfield line. Left side to Forka. Pressure by Milian and Boateng there, so Forka will retreat. Biggest margin of victory this season for Premier was 10-0 during the regular season. The Tropics had an 8-0 win. Kind of helped pad the goal differential score. Pereras with a nice touch. Gets it through to Pascal Milian. Milian in the box, looks for some help. Milian tries the left-footed shot, blocked nicely. Machado with it, and well offsides, I think, is Xavier Silva, and so there was no attempt to make a play on it. Toure with it. It's on the left side to Joe. It's been Leo Machado's burden to do a lot of the marking on Elton Joe here tonight. This is Banjo playing it to the far side and into the box. Leo Machado will head it out. Tropics will counter now. Here's a run down the left side by Corey Mills. Mills will slow things up. Leaves it to Pereras. Trying to get it to Milian. Pascal will just track it down. Pascal moving into the box. Lays it back on top now to Machado. Not a good ball from Leo there. Intercepted by Joe. And Alaris whistled, or rather Andrew Clear whistled for the foul. Joe again. And we have a foul called this time against Joe in the box. But man, he is getting his looks, getting his touches at least in the box. And if you're a Tropics fan, your stomach gets a little tight every time he touches it. Very talented player, no question. 38th minute, tied at 1. The winner advancing to the National Final Four in Texas. That will be the final weekend of the month. So the winner tonight will have a couple of weeks to recover and train for the Nationals. Winning team down in the Dallas-Fort Worth tournament will take home $10,000. So plenty at stake, other than just a trophy. As Leo Machado will be subbed out here. And coming in is Fernando Machado, his brother. So this will be the most extensive action. Here's the chance in the box again. Pereira's with it. Pereira's turns, fires. That one's blocked. Pedro Ivo Diaz will recover. Gets it over to Milian. Tried to hit it on the volley. Corey Mills steps up, but he can't get there. Counter opportunity here for Premier, but Joe will slow it down now and plays it right to the foot of Andrew Clare, who tried to hit Milian but couldn't do it. So Fernando Machado in. And as we said, this will be by far his most extensive playing time of the year. He's our featured guest along with his brother Leo in the latest edition of Tropics Weekly. As Fernando missed about 5 months with a leg injury, left leg injury that he just about recovered from and then re-injured it, and had to go through the whole rehab process a second time, but has dressed for the last several games. I think he might have dressed for the last game or two of the regular season as well, but his time had been limited mainly as a second half sub, so this will be a test for Fernando here tonight. Now here's a chance in the box. Good defensive play by Monaleris as he stepped up, but Joe has it again, and then it's blocked. Garrettson Crane, I think, stepped in front of that one. Here's Xavier Silva. Doesn't have any help with him whatsoever, but still with possession. Good work by Xavier Silva. Whistle and a foul. Good work by Xavier Silva to create an opportunity here for the Tropics. Did not have anyone with him and did a good job to keep possession and eventually draw the whistle. 41st minute, so we are winding down in the first half. Tied at 1. Elton Joe with a penalty kick goal in the 11th minute. First time the Tropics have trailed all year. Melvin Boateng with the equalizer in the 25th minute. Pretty individual effort in the box. So Pereiras will serve this one. See if he wants to go far post maybe. It's a deflection in front, and it'll go off of Premier. Thought it might have been Boateng who got a piece of it, but it was a Premier defender who actually deflected it over the end line. So the Tropics will again get a corner kick, and this time Victor will come to the near side of the field to tee it up. Lucas Monaleris and Andrew Clare, the two tallest Tropics players moving forward here on the restart. We've seen them score. Looking back post towards Xavier Silva. It'll be headed out of play. It'll be a throw in for the Tropics. So Clare and Monaleris will retreat. Seen both of them use their height advantage for goals in those situations. Clare's only goal of the year came in the playoffs on a corner kick from Pereiras. .43rd minute here. Ivo Diaz with it. Will play it all the way back to Silva and then back to Fernando. Neither team certainly would want to give up a very late goal here. I don't think we'll have a lot of stoppage time. Joe here will pick it up deep in the corner. Puts it in front. And here's a chance, and that is well wide off the foot of Myrtle Kyle. Crane will do the throw-in honors here for the Tropics, see if they can make one last push in the 45th minute. Carreras with it. Over to Corey Mills. And Andrew Clare making a run on the right side, but didn't see Andrew in time, so the Tropics will reset here. Not a very good ball by Boateng there. Good recovery by Pedro Evo Diaz, however. He's got a little space to operate. On the left side to Crane and ahead to Victor Carreras. Carreras will cut it back to the middle of the field. Reverses things over to Andrew Clare, who's taking up the right back position now. Fernando Machado gets it ahead to Carreras, who's almost muzzled off the ball, but will keep possession. Back heel to Gerritsen Crane as we are in stoppage time here now at Memorial Stadium, tied at 1. Boateng almost was a takeaway there. Instead, it'll be Premier trying to build forward from the half line. Pato with it. So over to Ankra. Way back now on the near side to Balo, and he can't control it, so the Tropics will get one more chance here. Ivo Diaz will get it right back to Pascal Millian. Really enjoyed watching him play here in the postseason. Ivo Diaz will try to keep it alive, can't do it. Banjo loses it. Clear with it. Not a Millian. And to Xavier Silva. Silva will draw the foul. So a chance for a set piece here for the Tropics in stoppage time. Harris will make the slow walk to the near side here. Tropics in no huge hurry here to get it off. They don't want to counter if they can help it. Here's the long ball back post. Headed in front, knocked out of there by Olafinsua. Served back into the box. Pascal Millian going to try and track it down, can't do it. Joe picks it up instead, and that will be the half here at Memorial Stadium. So a penalty kick called by Elton Joe at the 11th minute made it 1-0 world-class Premier, but the Tropics found the equalizer in the 25th minute off the foot of Melvin Boateng. So that's where we stand after 45 minutes. It's the Tropics SC 1, world-class Premier 1. We will be back with second half action in just a few minutes. Stay tuned on mycujo.tv. Just underway here, second half action in now the drizzle here at Memorial Stadium in Savannah. A very, very light drizzle at that, but definitely a bit of precipitation on the field. And here's a quick chance forward for Elton Joe, who just hits that one well over the crossbar. If you're just tuning in, it was Joe with the penalty kick in the 11th minute to give World-Class Premier a 1-0 lead. The Tropics tying it in the 25th minute off the foot of Melvin Boateng. Very pretty move in the box and a finish. And that's where we start the final 45 here. Of course, World-Class Premier had to go to overtime in their win over Baltimore United to get here. The Tropics have not had to play any extra time so far this season in their 4 playoff games. Won 2 of those games by 3 goals and 2 of them by 2 goals. We do have one important substitute in for the Tropics, and that is Ricardo Dieguez. Will assume the point, if you will, in for Xavier Silva to start the second half. Dieguez with a 3-game goal-scoring streak here in the playoffs. Victor Pereira has scored in 3 straight as well, including 2 last week in that win over Boca Raton. There's a run for Pereiras. Pereiras pulls up, curls towards the top of the box. Will try to hit Pedro Ivo Diaz with it. Couldn't make that connection. This is the first time any of the Tropics teams have actually made a postseason appearance. The flagship franchise, the Florida Tropics of the Major Arena Soccer League, have not qualified for the postseason in any of their 3 years. The Lakeland Tropics finishing second, tied for second last year in USL League 2 play, but lost on a tiebreaker to the Villages, so they have not qualified for the playoffs in their 3 years. The Tropics SC, the first in the umbrella of soccer clubs under the Tropics soccer banner to earn a postseason berth. Pereiras again, check that, this is Gerritsen Crane with it. Crane tries to bring it into the box himself, but is stopped. Milian, nice little back heel on the right side to Claire with a long shot. That goes high and over the bar. So yeah, Dieguez and Pereiras with 3-game goal-scoring streaks on the line here tonight. Xavier Silva, who Dieguez subbed in for at halftime, who actually had 2 goals in that first ever Tropics playoff win over the Gosa Spurs. Pereiras and Dieguez have gotten markers in every game since, at least one. Pereiras with 2 last week. Nice move by Banjo there, but ends up losing it to Boateng, the goal scorer here tonight for the Tropics. Banjo had a 2-goal game in the Premier's opening playoff win. Here's a through ball to Milian, but just a bit too far. It was a 4-0 decision over San Lee FC, and then that dramatic 2-1 win over Baltimore United to earn the trip here to Savannah. Just 2 playoff games for Premier, 4 for the Tropics. Many more UPSL teams in Florida than there are in the Mid-Atlantic region. So that was the discrepancy. Rain a little bit steadier here now. Not heavy, and I don't think there's any lightning in the area. We certainly have not seen any or heard any thunder, so they will obviously play on. Fairly humid evening, so a little drizzle might actually feel good. Of course, that's easy for us to say here in the press box. Just a little light rain in the area. Looking at radar, all the heavy stuff is well to our north up around the Columbia area, south of Columbia, but well away from Savannah it looks like, so I think we'll be all right. Ferreras knocked off the ball, was expecting a whistle, didn't get one. Boateng goes down. Play on, says the official, but Lucas Montoleros will take matters into his own hand. Boateng will try and reverse the field, but far too heavy for Milian on the far sideline. 52nd minute here. Beautiful Memorial Stadium. Our thanks to the Chatham County Parks and Rec Department and the Savannah Clovers for hosting this UPSL National Quarterfinal. Special thanks to our Tropics sponsors, of course, for our Summer of Soccer at Lake Myrtle, including our title sponsor this year, Devoted Health. We appreciate all their support. You can check out all their insurance information at devoted.com. Here's Joe being watched by Claire, and that one is well off the mark. Tropics made that switch about midway through the first half. Leo Machado starting at that right back position, drawing the assignment against Joe. And what are they going to reverse and say? Corner kick here for Premier, much to everyone's surprise, including WCP, I think. The referee had clearly indicated goal kick. So the Tropics need to regroup here quickly. Make sure they don't give up anything cheap while they, because they think they should be getting a goal kick out of it. Short cross, and Pedro Diaz does a nice job to get it out of harm's way. And here comes Melvin Boateng, who's got some speed. Boateng tries to push it ahead, and Forca makes the defensive recovery for world-class Premier. For a minute there, like Melvin might be in position to get a second of the night. He's not had a multi-goal game this year, has scored several. I venture to say none bigger than the one he had in the 25th minute here tonight. Gerritsen Crane intercepts that Elton Joe pass. Ball ahead to Victor Ferreras. He's going to get there. Ferreras pushes it forward and will get it across. There's a shot. Goal! Who else but Ricardo Dieguez from Victor Ferreras? The golden combination. 8 years they've played together. And Dieguez makes the finish in the 55th minute on the assist from Victor Ferreras, and the Tropics lead it 2-1. My, oh my, oh my. How many times have we said that over the last 3 years? Indoors, outdoors. They're both from Brazil. They had never met until they were teammates at the University of Texas, Brownsville, and have basically been together ever since. This is their 8th year of soccer together, both professionally indoor and amateurs outdoor. And they are the two all-time leading scorers for the Florida Tropics in the Major Arena Soccer League. And what a time for that combination to click yet again. Again, the Tropics believe they're on the wrong end of the whistle, but they will not win that argument as well. So a set piece coming up here for Premier. It's a little bit of a tinge of sadness, though, with that Diegas goal, because this, however far it goes for the Tropics this year, outdoors, will be the last time they play together for a while. Both were free agents in the Major Arena Soccer League after this past offseason. The Tropics re-signing Victor Pereiras, but Ricardo Diegas signed the 3-year deal with Utica City FC. So fans up in Maryland will get a chance to see Ricardo regularly when the Blast and Utica City tangle. And that will be bittersweet for the Tropics as well to not have that combination on the floor come late this fall, although the Florida Tropics signed a boatload of tremendous talent as free agents and should be a very good team this year, but they will be a very good team without the services of Ricardo Diegas. But for now, he's a Tropic, and he makes that defensive play as well. Boateng going to try and track it down at the half line. Can't do it. Good work by Marabalo to keep the play alive, and a good defensive effort there by Monaleris. Now here's a chance, a shot right on, saved by Silva, and he will have to come out and collect the rebound as Elton Joe is lurking about. Ball is certainly going to be a little bit slick, and handling it if you're Hugo Silva or Daniel Olafinsua. Goal keep for Premier. Going to have to be doubly sure that they can get a good handle on things. We mentioned we saw that in Lakeland last night, a wet ball perhaps contributing to the Lakeland Tropics tying goal in the 89th minute. Just enough rain to put just a little bit of a sheen on that ball. It's not a heavy rain by any stretch, it's barely a drizzle, but enough. Chance now in front, and a good recovery by Fernando Machado there. Ball in front, chance, and a shot well off the mark. That's about halfway to Brunswick. And it'll be a goal kick here for the Tropics. 2-1 Tropics after trailing early. Melvin Boateng and Ricardo Diegas with the go-ahead score here in the second half, but plenty of time to go, and we know world-class Premier is a dangerous side, so we will see how it all plays out here over the final 30 minutes now. We arrived at the 61st minute of play. Emperor will settle it for world-class Premier. Got it over to his teammate Philip Blystone. Middle of the field now to Banjo. Elton Joe is in the middle of the field now, and he's going to try and get that pass, but taken away and driven down. Ricardo Diegas going to battle there as it stayed in play, but Premier will control it. And this is Myrtle Cooper. Good recovery by Monolaris is pushed down, and the whistle and the foul was mildly dangerous as Myrtle Kyle was making the challenge, and had there not been a whistle, he would have been all alone on Silva, but no question of the foul there. Cuba will direct a little traffic downfield now. No panic here in WCP. They have created chances, so they know an equalizer is only just one chance away. Here's Diegas. We had Millian making a run, but offsides is called. That was close. Millian was calling for the ball. He was wide open on the far side of the field, but Tropics could not get him the ball, and it was offsides anyway. But we're pushing into the Tropics end of the field. Joe will pick it up. Being watched over there by Andrew Clare now, and Clare does a nice job. Nice entry, and Tropics will try and find Victor Pereira, but that was a little too strong on the clearing attempt. Machado, that is Fernando, going to be called for the foul. Came in as a sub for his brother midway through the first half as Lucas Teixeira made that strategic flip on the back line from Andrew Clare to. There's a chance on a shot that goes wide of the far post. There's all kinds of room there for Captain Daniel Ankra, and that was more space in the box than the Tropics would like to see at this point of the contest. 64th minute. 2-1 Tropics. It may not be enough. Might be, but we'll see. Substitution coming up for the Tropics, and one of the early heroes tonight, Melvin Boateng, will come out. And subbing in here for the Tropics, number 15, Kawi Carvalho. Big hand by the Tropics faithful that made the trip. Congratulations to Melvin on fine performance here tonight, and maybe the biggest goal of the season for the Tropics SC so far. And there comes the yellow, no question. A lot of jersey grabs and pull down. Banjo will be shown the yellow. First booking of the night. Probably not a bad play by Banjo either, because the Tropics would have had pretty good numbers situation there had Banjo not committed the foul. Another substitution here for the Tropics, it looks like. And this will be number, no, beg your pardon, no substitution. It's the Carvalho into the game. One nice thing for the Tropics tonight is they are pretty healthy. They've got a pretty full lineup. Just a couple of players that we've seen used in reserves a couple of times this year, not dressed, making the trip. That would be Ricardo Carvalho, the MASL star that was signed as a free agent, who was in a second half sub for a few games this year. Guilherme dos Santos, the indoor team's leading scorer before he got hurt, also not making the trip. But the rest of the lineup sheet looks pretty familiar. Still on the bench, Keisuke Ohata, Nicholas Mesh, Fairmont Constant. So fresh legs still available if needed. Block in there by Monaleras. Corey Bright with it. Nice little ball on the right side to Pascal Millien. Millien with some room to operate here. Leaves it up for Diegues. Diegues feeds it through Pedro Ivan Diaz, but it's offside. Diegues just a half second too late with the pass, and Pedro Diaz a half step ahead too quick there. That would have been huge for the Tropics. Coming in the 68th minute. Still 2-1 Tropics. And the goal of the half to finish by Ricardo Diegues off the assist from Victor Pereiras. Torre with it. On the right side now to Ankra. Ankra had a pretty good chance about 5 minutes ago as he found some space in the box to the left of Hugo Silva. Throw in coming up here. Ankra, the captain, will do the honors. Ankra with the cross. Machado can't clear it. Cross again. Millien going to try and track it down, and he'll get there. And taken away, and then taken right back out Millien. Great play, good chance for the Tropics to counter here. Ball on the left side to Pereiras. Pereiras will cut it back to the middle of the field. He's got Diegues with him. Here's Ricardo at the top of the box. Couldn't quite settle it. And that potential opportunity goes by the boards. That looked very inviting there for just a moment. Handball called against the Tropics. Just an extra half second there for Diegues. Couldn't quite settle it cleanly at the top of the box. Victor and Ricardo almost working their magic a second time here. Cooper gets it to Torre. Nice ball by Joe, but taken away, and Millien will counter here for the Tropics. '71st minute here at Memorial Stadium in Savannah. Tropics SC2, World Class Premier 1. Winner advancing to the UPSL National Final Four in Texas in 2 weeks. Throw in deep into the Tropics end of the field here. Joe will bang it off one of the Tropics defenders, and it'll be a goal kick here for, or rather a corner kick here for Premier. It was Kelly Carvalho on the defense who came in. There is the quick corner. A lot of milling about. That is actually kind of a designed play, kind of like a quick pitch in baseball. Quick corner, trying to catch the defenders still organizing and not far away from actually working. Torre with it at the half line. Intercepted by Ivo Diaz. Bright gets it ahead to Ricardo Diegues. Diegues is held up. No whistle. Play on, says the official. Tropics fans not happy with it. Kaya with it on the right side. This is Orsini with it. Orsini, top of the box. Shot, and that one just goes wide. Bryce Orsini into the game for world-class Premier, making his presence known. He did not start, but just missed far post there in the 72nd minute. Now into the 73rd minute. Ricardo Diegues still complaining about the no call there. Right with it, middle of the field now to Ivo Diaz. Milian loses it. Tropics get some numbers back here. No time to be caught upfield, that's for sure. Give and go attempt with Helton Joe, but it's cleared out of play. It'll be a throw-in, though, for Premier, and they'll again do it quickly. Ball into the box, headed out by Carvalho. And then Bright will send it to the midfield line to Ricardo Diegues. Tries to play it through to Carreras, but the goalkeeper, Finsua, will come out and send it the other way, as does Garrison Crane into the stands here. Nicholas Smash getting ready to check in here for the Tropics. And he will substitute out for Pascal Milian. Hero Cooper also, he was going to be subbed out for, but nope, just heading to the sideline for the throw-in here. There's Joe with it, and that one will be sent on a play. I don't know if Joe was trying to make a shot on frame there, or actually cross, but didn't end up being much of either. Just over 15 minutes of regulation time left here. Tropics 2, world-class Premier 1. Premier took the early lead in the 11th minute on a Elton Joe penalty kick. Elvin Boateng tied it with a pretty individual effort in the box in the 25th minute. And then Ricardo Diegues, the go-ahead goal. Here's a dangerous chance from the top of the box. Just outside the 18, but again struck off frame by Cam Seguiba. My apologies for Seguiba. No L in there. Sorry, it's Cam. And so in as a substitute here for World Class Premier in the second half. Pato with it. Gives it to Ankara. There's a bid from distance by Kyle. Will stay apparently in the field of play. There's Bryce with a cross. A little dangerous moment here for the Tropics in front. Cleared out of there by Pedro Ivo Diaz. Good defensive play. Trying to get Ricardo Diegues ahead of the field did the Tropics there. They have turned that trick a couple of times this year, including in the playoffs. And as teams push forward and look for a tying goal, as WCP will need to do here in the final 13 minutes, that becomes an ever-present danger if you're playing the Tropics. Ricardo, a great finisher. Otto with it. Over to Kyle. Trying to get it on the left side to Orsini. Orsini runs out of room. Goal kick for the Tropics. We'll be in no particular hurry to take this one. Joe here. Carvalho will clear it all the way, and Diegues able to pick it up. Leaves it for his buddy Victor Pereiras. Pereiras gonna send it down the right side. Nicholas Mesh gonna try and catch up with it there. Star at McKeel High School in Lakeland. Mesh with it. Moves to the top of the box. Tries to get off a shot. Can't do it. Did get off the shot, but a good defensive play over there by Orsini. Joe now with it, always dangerous. Carvalho on him. Pushes it into the box. Carvalho over the end line, and it will be a corner kick here for Premier. So another set piece coming in the 79th minute. Served in and tall of everybody. Marballo was the intended target on the far post, but too tall for Barlow. '80th minute here. Tropics trying to nurse a 2-1 lead and earn a trip to Dallas-Fort Worth. Where else would you rather be at the end of July? Probably the one place on earth that might be hotter than Florida that time of year. But that'll be all right because the UPSL National Final Four is there. As Mesh put a little pressure on the Premier goalkeeper there. And one of these two teams will be there playing for a national championship. There's a ball into the box, and that is just a little too far ahead for Seguiba. World Class Premier wanting the corner there. They won't get it. It'll be a goal kick for Hugo Silva. keep a close eye on the time here in the final 10 minutes of regulation. And again, I wouldn't anticipate, based on the first 40 minutes here of the half, that we would have a lot of stoppage time. 3-4 minutes maybe. Wouldn't be a lot. Ankara gets it to the center of the field. Mesh, though, will clear it for the Tropics. Got 10 men back. Now 9. Ricardo Dieguez out near the half line, although he will move back as well on defense a little. Made a nice defensive play earlier in the half. Rain continuing to fall here in Savannah. Very light rain, but can see it now in the stadium lights as we approach what would be sunset if we had sun. Nice defensive work as Nicholas Mesh and Pedro Ivo Diaz team up there. And then Ivo Diaz loses it. Look out here. Weeba. Back on top to Ankara. And watched by Machado. Weeba with it. Knocked off Seguiba. But they will say that one went over the end line, and it'll be a goal kick for the Tropics. And I think Cowie Carvalho is going to get a yellow card for being a little too vociferous in his complaints about the non-call before that. First booking of the night for the Tropics. There was one in the first half against Kunle Banjo. '86th minute. 2-1 Tropics. Play by Fernando Machado to get that one out of the box. Tropics kind of in a prevent defense of sorts now, certainly, with into the 84th minute. I believe I said the 86th minute a minute ago, and I was incorrect on that, and I apologize. One attempt by the captain, Ankara, is off target. So we are just heading into the 85th minute here in about 10 seconds. Again, a build forward here for WCP. They're out of there by Bright. Not sure what the stoppage is here. I guess Hugo Silva may have a bit of an issue down in goal. Did not see what may have happened to him, unless it's a cramping situation. This is a chance to thank everyone for this great first season of Tropics SC Soccer. Dr. Panos Akavitas here tonight on the sideline, kind of a second coach, if you will. Great advocate of the sport and a pretty good coach himself. Saw he and Lucas Teixeira comparing notes coming both off the field and on the field at halftime. And I'm sure his input is greatly appreciated. Certainly his leadership and devotion to the sport in Lakeland and Polk County. The goal long term for the outdoor side is to ultimately have a fully professional team and perhaps a downtown stadium in Lakeland. The city of Lakeland has unveiled its vision of a new entertainment and sports district near the RP Funding Center, which includes about a 3,500 seat soccer stadium that would host the Tropics as a fully professional side, maybe a USL League One franchise. It would be exciting. That really is the reason for the two outdoor teams right now for the Tropics, even though it's a little confusing for fans. The Lakeland Tropics and USL League 2, and of course the Tropics SC here in the UPSL, the goal being to create as large a talent pool as possible, so when that day comes that they merge the outdoor teams into one fully professional team, they will be ready to do that, hit the ground running. I know a lot of the Lakeland City officials and Tropics officials huddling just as recently as this past week about the idea of a brand new soccer stadium adjacent to the RP Funding Center in Lakeland. It would be very exciting for the Tropics and local soccer fans. It would bring some MLS soccer to Polk County. Is already a commitment from an MLS team to train at such a facility if it's built. So that would mean exhibition games. There's a hard tackle from behind as Machado was taken down. No, that wasn't Machado. I believe that was Garrettson Crane. We are now in the 88th minute, so we are close to stoppage time. And as we said, don't think there will be a lot of stoppage time. I think something maybe on the order of 3-4 minutes. Many thanks to Ken Turfel, who has done a great job making sure everything looks and sounds great at mycujo.tv, making the trip up here to Savannah as well. Here's Orsini. Orsini in the box. Ran out of room. And it'll be a goal kick here for Hugo Silva. So thank you, Ken, for all your great work. To the many devoted folks back in Polk County watching this evening on MyCujo TV, we thank you for your great support and hope to see you late this fall at the RP Funding Center when the Florida Tropics start their 4th season in the Major Arena Soccer League. Some good ticket specials going on right now. You can check those all out at the Tropics Facebook page. fltropics.com is the official website, and you can check out the Florida Tropics Facebook page for all the latest news and information on both the Tropics SC and, of course, the Florida Tropics. Here's Machado. Will push forward here now. Fernando trying to make a run, and no handball is called. Lucas Teixeira can't believe it. And so that'll give WCP at least one more chance to build forward here. Just seconds away from stoppage time. 2-1. Tropics SC on top. Long ball into the box, and Hugo Silva will put his big mitts on that and make sure nothing else untoward happens. In the drizzle here in Savannah. Silver will have to get that one away rather quickly. And we are now in stoppage time. No indication that we've seen of exactly how much stoppage time it would be, but as we said, we're going to guess maybe in the 4 or 5 minute range tops. There have not been any significant delays here. And we know World Class Premier has a flair for the dramatic. Was Elton Joe scoring in the 120th minute against Baltimore United to earn WCP their trip here to Savannah. Push forward here into the offensive third now for the Tropics, but Nicholas Mesh unable to keep that ball alive. Corey Bright, though, nope, going to be a holding call against the Tropics. Ankro with it. Cleared out of the zone, and Diegues will try and track it down at midfield. Can't do it, and he'll be called for the foul. And in fact, going to get a card for his efforts to boot. Here's Ankro with it. Throwing coming up for the Tropics is Garrettson. Crane made sure there was no entry into the box that time. Long ball in again. Still loose in the box. Look out here. Chance in front. Back heel. And that's taken off the line. I think it was Andrew Clare who made the play. Andrew Clare with a big defensive moment. Here's the ball into the box. Silva tries to get it cleared, and it's just wide on the short side. Scramble time here in stoppage time, and the Tropics hanging on to a 2-1 lead. And again, Hugo Silva a little banged up. I think it's a cramping situation. But this will prolong the stoppage time. Boy, there were a couple of moments there in the box that it looked like World Class Premier was a redirect away from the equalizer. George Navarrete is the backup. Only appeared in one game this year for the Tropics. Silva had 10 clean sheets during the regular season. And Hugo, I think, is going to be able to tough it out here. Still a little bit gimpy. Substitute in for Premier, that's number 9, Kingsley Onwuka. Run down the sideline here by World Class Premier, whistling a foul. Again, the Tropics a little disbelieving of the call. At least their fans. Not always the most important. It's all right. That's why they're called fans. Ankra will serve it into the box here. Not a good serve, very low. We're in stoppage time. Can't be probably more than a minute or two left. Nicholas Mesh, his header though goes astray. Still loose in the box. Kicked out of there by Pedro Ivo Diaz. Ankra will track it down. On the right side to a wide open Bryce Orsini. Orsini serves it into the box. Knocked back the other way, but Orsini picks it up and he'll send it right through again. Cleared by Montoleros this time. Can't be only just scant seconds remaining now. 2-1 the Tropics. Very close to a trip to the National Final Four, but World Class Premier gonna make sure they go down with a fight. And who knows? They were close to an equalizer just a couple of minutes ago. We are into the 6th minute now of stoppage time. Of course, Hugo Silva's cramping issues added a little extra to the clock. That ball is cleared away. Diegas not able to keep possession, and World Class Premier will push forward one more time. Perhaps their last chance here. On the right side to Emadari. Tried to serve it into the box, and Garrettson Crane got in the way of that one. It will be a corner, however, so one definitive last chance for sure here for World Class Premier, but not a good corner. Short and cleared out of the zone. But World Class Premier will control with one more look. Here's a chance from distance, cleared away by Carvalli, but not well. Headed and foul called against Premier. Boy, there just cannot be much time left at all here. We are actually now into the 7th minute of stoppage time. Sent all the way down field by Montoleros. World Class Premier with one more chance. Pedro Ivo Diaz on the intercept. Diegas has it. No foul there. That's a little hard to believe. It'll give Orsini an opportunity with some space. Orsini clears it on the right side to Emadari. Throw in here for World Class Premier. Play on, says the official. Well deep into stoppage time now. Not sure why we've had quite so much stoppage time. We do. There's a header and almost a handball in the box against Montoleros, but it was not called. It was close. Montoleros with a good defensive play, and another corner coming up for World Class Premier. We are fully 8 minutes now into stoppage time. And still no final whistle. And one more set piece. Into the box. Far post goes by everybody. There's a clear by Carvalho. And that is it! Full time finally here in Savannah. And the Tropics SC will head to Dallas-Fort Worth for the United Premier Soccer League National Final Four. A gutty effort by World Class Premier. Close to the equalizer a couple of times here in stoppage time. But Hugo Silva, Andrew Clare, Lucas Montoleros making some big defensive plays down the stretch. And the Tropics SC win it 2-1. They are still undefeated this season, now 16-0-0, and for the first time all season, win it in a comeback. The recap: Elton Joe for WCP got the penalty kick goal at the 11-minute mark for a 1-0 Premier lead, but Melvin Boateng with maybe the biggest goal of the year for the Tropics SC to steady the ship in the 25th minute, made it 1-1, and then that golden combination of Victor Pereras and Ricardo Diegas in the 54th minute. Victor with the cross, Ricardo with the finish. That proves to be the game winner of the final. The Tropics SC 2 and World Class Premier 1. On to Dallas-Fort Worth for the National Final Four. That will be the final weekend in July. It's been great bringing you Tropics SC soccer all season long. And we hope you will tune in for the games from Dallas-Fort Worth at the end of July. And we will see you back in person late this fall at the RP Funding Center when the Florida Tropics start their 4th season in the Major Arena Soccer League. But for now, it's all about the Tropics SC and their run to the national playoffs, the final. Once again, here tonight from Savannah, Georgia, the Tropics SC 2 and WCP 1. Off to the Final Four in Dallas at the end of July for the Tropics SC. Until then, have a great week, everybody.